This is upon further review from USCHO. And here's your host, Ed Trefsker.
Welcome to Upon Further Review for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I'm Ed Trefsker alongside Jim Connolly and Derek Schooley. This episode is sponsored by the NCAA Division I Men's Frozen Four, April 9th and 11th in Las Vegas. Get your tickets at ncaa.com/mfrozen4. Well, gentlemen, we're going to do something we've been wanting to do for a while. We always have fun with these, and that is buy or sell. And we have 8 propositions for us. If you agree, you say buy. If you disagree with, you say sell. If you want to worm your way out of it, you might try to say hold, and we'll see if we let you or not. So I'm
no hold.
I'm gonna try to
you're
hold.
gonna buy or
always
sell.
try to,
Keep it
I always
simple.
try to hold.
We always say that, and then there's always like, but we won't allow it. So
We're gonna start calling Derek the hedge.
there you go.
He
buy,
hedges.
sell, or hedge. And we're going. So I'll read the proposition, then we each say whether we buy or sell. If it had been a couple of weeks ago, we might have said Michigan State, but right now, number 1 is Michigan. Do you buy or sell? Michigan is the best team in college hockey.
I've seen him in person. I've watched him. I was a buyer from first game that my team played. I thought that they had the top offense that I've seen in a while, and I thought they finally had a goalie. The only thing that scares me is the injury on the blue line that they had, that potentially that could end up hurting them eventually, because that was one of their top D. So, but it hasn't seemed to stop them. Their offense is rolling. Until somebody can stop them from scoring under 9 goals on a weekend, yes, they are the best in the land. Buy.
Yeah, this might be the easiest buy. But the interesting thing, I'd say it's an easy buy, and a couple of weeks ago, Michigan State might have been an easy buy. Right now, Michigan is unstoppable. And you mentioned Henry Muse on the blue line. That's a big loss for them, but they don't seem to be any worse for the wear. I mean, we mentioned it on Monday. They had a down weekend this past weekend, only scored 9 goals against Harvard. I mean, they're supposed to score 11 a weekend right now. They're almost 5.5 goals a game. This is an offense that's clicking. Their goaltending strong. Their power play is, unstoppable. I just like everything about this Michigan team. I have no reservations about them right now.
Yeah, I'm going to buy. And are they going to be the best team at the end of the season? I don't know. There have been some disappointments along the way the last couple of seasons, but I think I've got to buy here too for the reasons you guys said. Next one, this year's Hobey Baker winner currently plays for Minnesota Duluth.
I'll start here. I'll sell on this one. There's plenty of talent there. And the Plant brothers are fantastic. Shagobay, that's probably the best line in college hockey. But look at Michigan right now. And Will Vorkoff's line is, I think he has 26 or so points right now, right up there with Plant. I mean, the numbers right now are showing out that line is going to certainly get plenty of recognition from Duluth when it comes to Hobey voting. But I think at the end, there's just too many other players out there. I'd have to sell on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell too. Because the field is so big. You got Haig, you got Horkoff, you got Hughes, you've got Shemek, you've got Serdian, you've got a couple goalies. The goalies that we talked about with the numbers of Dartmouth, even though they're going to split the vote. I mean, you can go down the list. The field is too big right now, so I'm going to sell. You got Cole Hudson, go down the list.
Yeah, I got to sell also because there are just so many out there. Now, if the question was, will one or more Hobey finalists be from Minnesota Duluth, then I would buy that one. But there are just too many.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer on the voting committee because it's a 3-year term, but I know how the discussions go, and there's so much that gets weighed in this that, this would be like buying, referencing our Friday Edge podcast, this would be like buying a NCAA championship future. I mean, the odds are pretty long in that. And so if if we were doing that on the money side, that's that might be one that you'd say, well, I'll go for a flyer there. But I agree, sell on that
But
one.
Jimmy always makes a point is that everybody steals their votes when you have multiple from one team. But you got multiple from
That does
Michigan.
happen.
You got multiple from. I mean, you got Michigan State. You got guys from. But there really isn't just. I mean, there's just so many good candidates. So, like I said, there's just too many right now for me to buy on that right now. They're just.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
I think that Derek's point about splitting the vote is there. We've seen that in recent years. Boston College, they've had multiple candidates and they've split some votes. But if you're that good, you do tend to stand above. Last year at Michigan State, they were able to, really make a great case. And I think they sold a Hobie Baker to the voters when all was said and done. I think they did a good job of marketing it. So that's another part of it is what you do as a school, I think also sometimes can decide. So if we get to Duluth here, maybe in March or February, they're starting to figure out who are we going to campaign for. Maybe that's when they say, okay, we're just going to take X player from that line. That's who we're going to put all of our effort behind. It's hard to do though. That's very, very difficult to do.
They got to keep winning too.
Winning helps.
And, when it comes down to me, when I'm looking at a team with more than one candidate, what I've done is say, okay, who is the better of the two or the best of the three, and who would I then vote for? And so I don't know how much is a split or how much, I'm sure there's a split, but the split is probably more in what the voters think is the better player. Next one, Derek, sorry. Western Michigan will return to this season's Frozen Four in Las Vegas.
This is my hold because I'm not going against my alma mater, but it's going to be awful hard. So I'm not buying, I'm not selling, but we've always said how hard it is to win back-to-back championship and how hard it is to go to back-to-back Frozen Fours. They had a little bit of a down, but I think they're starting to right the ship a little bit. I'm not taking a stance. I'm not going to take a stance. I'm going to hold. I'm going to hedge. I'm going to whatever you want. I'm going to waffle. I'm just going to say it's awful hard to go back to back.
Derek the Hedge. That's your new nickname, Derek the Hedge. I'm going to sell here, and it's not anything to be disrespectful to Western. I've seen them in person this year. They're an excellent team. It's really hard to get back there, though. They're starting to put themselves in better position. A few weeks ago, they weren't even in the right side of the NPI bubble, if you will. They're at least inside that top. I think they're 11th right now, so they're right there in the NPI mix. But it's hard. It's really hard to get back to Frozen Fours. You're right, Derek. And I respectfully, I just have to sell on this one.
Yeah, I got to sell also. Just because so many teams are up there right now, there are teams that seem to have made enough of a step forward. We talked about Michigan already. We talked about Michigan on Monday. It's going to be hard to get through to that. But this isn't to say that they can't get there. It's if you had to pick one or the other, which we have to. So I'm going to sell on that one. The next one, before we take our break, this is a tough one. And that's Hockey East will be a 2 or less bid conference this season. Let me throw in a couple of things here. In fact, I'm gonna sell on that, but I'm kind of on the fence on it. Right now, only Northeastern is inside the NPI bubble, and the league's non-conference winning percentage is something like .533, which is pretty low. It's going to be tough to get that third one in, but I think somehow they'll manage to do it. This is a very different situation for Hockey East than the last 2-3 seasons, where at this time of the year they looked like they might get 6 in. So I'm going to sell on this one, but I'm not real excited about it.
I'm going to sell, but I'm kind of in your boat, Ed. I'm worried. I really am. Northeastern, they're the team that's inside right now, but Northeastern's about to play a really tough road schedule. Their building is closing on December 13th. The rest of their season will be on the road. And I still haven't heard how that's going to factor into the NPI, whether they're going to count as neutral site games, road games, or home games, because they're playing some of their home games on the road while Matthews is under construction. So that's one I'm concerned about. Then you look at BCBU, Providence, they're all in the mix. UMass is kind of in there. Connecticut's in there, but they're all just in that area that in the 20s. And 20s is really far away from 13, 12, 11, 10, where you need to get to. So I'm concerned. I'll sell, but I think that this is one that could be a buy.
You said Mass is at 44. You meant Maine. Maine's in the 20s. UMass is at 44.
Oh, Maine. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're voting with your hockey paycheck there for your broadcasting. I'm going to buy that one. I think they're going to get one in there, and they're going to get their AQ. I don't see a whole bunch of them because they're going to start cannibalizing themselves. I think they're going to start eating each other alive in their league. Their league's going to be so challenging because those teams are so good and they just haven't done what they needed to do so far. It's going to be hard. Somebody's going to have to go on they're going to need two teams to go on a massive run and do really well, get themselves up into 12s and make it far in the playoffs, and somebody else sneak in there with an AQ. I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah, and this weekend, they didn't do a lot of favors for themselves. When you think of Thanksgiving, it's traditionally a pretty strong non-conference weekend. 1 win out of 4 on Friday, that's not enough. They have to be going out and taking 80% of their non-conference games. They didn't come close to that this weekend. So I'm with you. Maybe I am voting a little bit with
Which
my
I don't
paycheck
blame you.
here, but I'm concerned. I'm very concerned.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I was always told that you always root with your paycheck. Everybody always says, "Oh, if you played Western, obviously you root with your paycheck." I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna sell on that though. I'm gonna buy on that. They're only getting 2 in.
That's why it's easier when your paycheck is from your alma mater. Then you don't have any split loyalties. We're going to take a break and come back with more. This podcast episode is sponsored by the NCAA Men's Division I Frozen Four, April 9th and 11th in Las Vegas.
I'm Cole Caulfield, and I played college hockey.
I'm Adam Fox, and I played college hockey.
I'm Jake Gensel, and I played college hockey.
I'm Cale McCarr, and I played college hockey.
Whether you are a fan or a player, nothing compares to college hockey.
We're back with Upon Further Review, and we were talking earlier in the week about Dartmouth. Dartmouth will be the ECAC regular season champion, buy or sell.
I'm going to buy. I think they will. I really do. I think Quinnipiac is a good team, but they're a little bit down this year. Cornell, maybe they're the team that gives them the run. Harvard, I was high on Harvard, but then they struggled with Michigan a little bit this week. Union gives them the run. But I don't have another team in the ECAC that I am that much in love with. I love Dartmouth right now. They're playing really good hockey. I'll buy.
I'm laughing because for those of you who didn't catch that earlier, we did this 2 weeks ago and we had technical difficulties and it didn't get publicized. So we didn't buy on this 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago was a lot different than we're doing now. I'm still gonna sell because I think they get in the tournament, but I think somebody else beats them in the playoffs. I think there's just too many good teams right now. I think ECAC is really an underrated conference right now.
It's regular season champion schools, not postseason champion. Regular season champion.
I was thinking that.
In the ECAC.
I still am going to sell. I think they're still getting the tournament. I'm just going to go against the grain. I'm selling on this one.
I'm going to buy on this one, although it's taken a lot of points to win the regular season in the ECAC. Right now, 12 points for Dartmouth. They've got 18 games left. 18 games left, so that's a possible 54 points. Say they go 14 out of those, they could get to 50. So 14-4, not out of the realm of possibility. And I think the reason is something we talked about on Monday. They've got a goaltending tandem. And when you have two goalies that you can depend on to put up the numbers they have, you feel very confident with that backstopping your team. So I'm going to buy on this one.
The defense isn't allowing a lot, too. That's the other thing. Good goaltending, their defense doesn't give up a lot of chances.
Yeah, so maybe it's a little pie in the sky, but it would be nice to see a different team on top of the regular season. No offense on the team that has won it several years in a row. Well, let's go to the next one. And this is either the CCHA or Atlantic Hockey will be a multi-bid league this year. One or the other would get 2 bids in, buy or sell.
Do you want to go on this one, Schools? I'll let you go
Hard one
first.
For me, I'm gonna have to sell. They're not. We're both there. We're both gonna be one bid leagues the way it is right now, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't see any road to it unless Minnesota State keeps doing what they're doing, and a team like Bemidji or Michigan Tech can win, and Michigan and Minnesota State has done enough to put themselves in the top. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's my one path. I'll sell, but if I were to buy on this, my one path would be Minnesota State, and I'll go on the record as saying that. Right, so you get one team that pulls off the upset, but I'll go on the record and say that if the CCHA gets 2 in, or if Atlantic Hockey for some reason gets 2 in, I'll stick with the CCHA because I think they have the better chance. If the CCHA gets 2 in, that's what will take Hockey East's third bid away. That will be what takes it away.
Yeah, I'm going to sell on this one. I'm with you on Minnesota State being the most likely, but it's also possible for one of the top teams in Atlantic Hockey. And I think if I'm picking top teams right now, the ones I see as having the better chance of doing that right now are Holy Cross and Bentley. But throw Sacred Heart in there too. If one of those goes on a real tear in the league so that they can move up to like the top 10 in the NPI, which is a possibility if you have, only a few lost points, then maybe getting to the championship game and losing will still get you in. But I think it's harder this year. And as I've said right along, I think one of the things that makes it harder is allowing sub 500 teams in. So a 5th or 6th place team from the NCHC or a 5th place team in Big Ten could squeak in even sub 500. So it's really difficult. So I'm going to sell on that one.
Is there enough non-conference left though?
Here's what I'll give you on Holy Cross.
I said, is there enough non-conference left in Holy Cross?
Yeah. They only have 1 game left, and it's against Merrimack. It almost becomes a must-win non-conference game. They're 23 right now in the NPI. If they go on the run in Atlantic Hockey, they're really just not going to have a lot of room for error.
Yeah, although there probably will be some games in the win column for them that will come off of their schedule because they hurt them for the MPI purposes. So,
well, I'm not sure that that's going to be enough to move the needle.
No, but if you have say you have an 800 winning percentage, that may be enough to get you up there. We'll see how that goes. That's the only way I can see it happening. In either one of those leagues, somebody has got to dominate the league and then lose in the championship game and hope it doesn't drop into like 15 or 16. We got 2 more for this episode. A blue chip player will leave college hockey at the break. Buy or sell?
Buy. There will be somebody that leaves because of academics, not playing enough, something. And it happens every year. So I just think everybody's making a big deal of the CHL. Somebody's going to go back, but it happens with USHL kids. It happens with development kids. It happened at Michigan last year with the Humphreys kid. He went to the OHL. I mean, it just happens. So I don't think there's any difference this year to last year to the year before. Somebody will leave because of something. So yes, define blue chip to me as well. I think because if you're leaving because of lack of playing time, are you really a blue chip? Or are you just unhappy with your role? So Is Gavin McKenna going to leave at Christmas? No. Is Porter Matone going to leave at Christmas? No. So it's obviously somebody that wasn't in somebody's plans or their immediate plans, and it's futures, like you said earlier. You're buying for the futures, and they want something immediate.
I think the more.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think the more fun thing to look at is recruits who may decommit, some blue chip decommits in that level. Maybe somebody's committed to a lower program and has an opportunity to a higher one, or maybe a higher program has room for somebody good and ends up letting somebody go. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch. Not exactly the same thing, but we're going to see some of that movement happening. We already are.
Yeah, and to School's point, I think, if we can define what a blue chip player is, that really kind of really does dictate the argument here. I think you'll see a couple of players maybe leave. I don't know that we'll call them blue chip players though. So that's where I guess I get a little cautious here. So, I'll buy on it that you're going to have somebody leave. I don't know how big of a name it's going to be.
Where do you draw the line? I mean, for a recruit, is it a top 10 berth year, a top 20 berth year? And for a player, how do you figure it? So I guess we got to next time we do this, we'll define what a blue chip player is.
So I did. Yeah. And I've written it twice now, and I still didn't change the wording on it. So
a really, really, really good player will leave college hockey at the break. Yeah, I think that's a buy. Last one. The Tim Taylor Award for National Rookie of the Year will go to a former CHL player. I'll buy that one and let you guys sort it out from here.
Yeah, I'll 100% buy. Basically, just looking at the current stats. When I look at rookies right now, you're talking about most of the top rookies are coming out of the CHL. Vaclav Nestrasil might be the one outlier there at UMass. Everybody else that I look at in the top 5 of scoring, they're all CHL players. So I think, yeah, it's more than likely you're going to get a really high-end name out of the CHL. Will it be Gavin McKenna? That's my only question. He's got so much name recognition, but there's a lot of other rookies that are putting up the big numbers. So you might see it's not Gavin McKenna, but I think it's going to be a CHL player.
Yeah, you know what? A couple weeks ago, I was 100% buy after watching a couple games. I wouldn't go so far. I mean, Ethan Wittenbach from Quinnipiac played for Sioux Falls in the USHL. I mean, he's had a really good year. He's the leading point guy right now and all rookie scorers. But then after that, you got Porter Matone. Wittenbach's not getting the PR that Matone and McKenna and all the other guys are getting, Poirier and Valentini and all that. But there's still other guys out there, but 22 points. McKenna's got 18 points. He's got a USHL kid ahead of him, same age, same birth year. But this kid, Whitenbach, is drafted, so 1 year older. I don't know. It's not the 100 and plus points that people were expecting. That's for sure. So I guess I will buy, but the field, there's still some people out in the field that could take that.
I forgot about Wittenbach too. That was one I left off. I should have had that one as well. So I guess it's maybe not a guarantee that we're going to see it, but I feel like there's enough players in the top 10 of scoring rookies that it's probably going to go CHL.
Last question on this before we wrap up. What about the effect of having gone and played in the World Juniors? We've seen players come back from that and really go on a tear.
I'd like to see what players come back and what that translates to this year. If a player can just pick up some steam in that tournament, then you might see something like that. You might see a rookie come back and really dominate college hockey in the second half. But I'm interested to see what World Juniors becomes too. We're seeing the cross section of players that are still in the CHL. You got the European players that we don't know a ton about. I'm really interested in this year's World Junior team. I don't think in terms of the U.S. that it's as strong as the last couple of teams have been. So I think this is a wide open World Junior
They announced the U.S. Preliminary roster on Monday. It littered with top to bottom, lots of college guys. Michigan led the way with six potential Wolverines on the team. I see goaltending. U.S. has got to have a goalie who could stop a puck. Yep.
That's their issue. That's their issue right now.
That's for sure.
Well, with that, we'll wrap up here. This has been Upon Further Review. We're sponsored by the NCAA Men's Division I Frozen Four. That is April 9th and 11th in Las Vegas. Visit ncaa.com/mfrozen4 for tickets. Also, you can watch this and like and subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/USCHO. For Jim Connolly, for Derek Schooley, I'm Ed Trefsker, and this has been Upon Further Review.